Yeah.
Tank is one of the most interesting fighters to watch because he's so different. His style is so different. You know, he's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out. And the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
Yeah, he's very explosive. He's very explosive, and, you know, man, he be cracking them dudes. Hey, he be putting them to sleep.
Just cracking people.
Don't dub it on, yo. I'm not paying. Challenge.
Well, you get this one, man.
Ain't no jumping out.
When Joe Rogan got a look at Gervonta Tank Davis's noticeably bulked up physique ahead of the Jake Paul fight, it immediately caught his attention. You could almost picture Rogan slipping into his trademark style of analysis, part genuine amazement, part technical breakdown as he examined the physical transformation. It was the kind of change that naturally gets the boxing world talking and raises questions about what it could mean once Tank steps back into the ring.
I'm a giant Gervonta fan. I think that guy's so unusual.
Yeah.
His style's so unusual, and it's like patience.
Yes.
Yeah. But he finds these openings and he sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient.
Right.
Like, when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because he just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence.
Speaking on his podcast, Joe Rogan didn't hold back when reacting to Gervonta Tank Davis's latest training footage. Looking at Tank's noticeably bigger physique, Rogan was clearly impressed, pointing out just how much stronger and more muscular he appeared compared to previous camps. Davis's broader shoulders, thicker upper body, and more powerful frame immediately stood out, especially when compared to how he looked before the Ryan Garcia fight. Rogan then shifted into the kind of technical breakdown he's known for, explaining how the added muscle could influence Tank's performance inside the ring. Rather than assuming the extra size would slow him down, he suggested it could actually increase Davis's explosiveness, allowing him to generate even greater punch velocity and hip-driven power while maintaining the speed that has made him one of boxing's most dangerous knockout artists.
It's interesting, right? Like, you don't know whether someone's ever going to be able to figure that out or whether or not he's just going to keep cracking people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's part of the fun of watching it. I've talked to a lot of like real boxing purists. It's like, you can't rely on that style.
Right.
He's got to be busier. When he gets to the best guys, it's not going to work out. Like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, because there's so many good guys.
But what really grabbed attention was Joe Rogan's comparison of Gervonta Tank Davis to a modern-day compact version of Mike Tyson. In Rogan's view, this isn't a fighter preparing to simply outpoint an opponent. It's someone built to explode with speed and power from the opening bell. He even joked that anyone expecting Tank to cruise to a decision would be in for a surprise, suggesting this version of Davis looks determined to end the fight as quickly as possible. It was obvious that Rogan appreciated the work behind the transformation. He has always admired fighters who continue to develop, and he viewed Tank's latest evolution as the product of smarter training, greater physical preparation, and a commitment to raising his game. Rogan's overall message was clear: this doesn't look like the same Gervonta Davis fans have seen before. In his eyes, it's a more complete, more dangerous, and more explosive version of Tank 1 that appears ready to make a statement when he steps back into the ring.
You know, he got the skills, the power, he got that ring IQ to do good, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, he's also wild. He's a wild fella, so he's fun to watch. You know, he's just a crazy dude. You know?
Yeah, coming from Baltimore, man, I think that's just his upbringing as well. You know, product of his own environment.
Yes, for sure. He's just so unique in his approach. Like, you know, he doesn't fight like anybody else.
After Joe Rogan broke down Gervonta Tank Davis's impressive physical transformation and praised the power he appears to be carrying into camp, the conversation shifted to Wade Plemons' analysis, where the focus moved from Tank's physique to the strategy behind the preparation. That's where things became even more interesting. It was clear this wasn't just about looking stronger for the cameras, it was about building a complete game plan. According to Plemons' breakdown, Calvin Ford is approaching the matchup with meticulous attention to detail, carefully studying Jake Paul's habits, tendencies, and potential weaknesses. Every movement, every reaction, and every opening is being analyzed in an effort to give Tank every possible advantage. This is far more than routine training or ordinary sparring sessions. It's a calculated process designed to sharpen Davis's timing, refine his angles, and prepare him mentally for the challenge ahead. The objective is simple: enter the ring with complete confidence and execute a game plan built for total control.
The least serious you take Jake, and I've said this about everybody that's fought him, the ones that don't take him serious, the ones that say he's a YouTuber and everything else, they end up losing, or they end up looking like, oh, wait a second, this guy was a little better than I thought. They end up either getting taken by surprise or actually sometimes losing because they don't realize that Jake actually takes it serious. So this is good to hear. Just already right off the rip, they were already doing something.
Surprise. So tell me, when did you hear about this?
They've been going back and forth for years, Tank and Jake. They've been going at it for years, and it would have happened sooner, you know what I'm saying? But we have hiccups in life.
And when people talk about Tank relentlessly attacking the body, they're referring to far more than simply wearing an opponent down with conditioning. The strategy is to steadily drain Jake Paul's energy, reduce his mobility, and make every exchange more difficult as the fight progresses. A sustained body attack can slow an opponent's movement, weaken their power, and force them to fight at a pace that favors Tank. What also stands out from the training footage is that this camp doesn't appear to be focused only on adding size, strength, or speed. Just as importantly, it seems centered on sharpening Davis's decision-making inside the ring. Under Calvin Ford's guidance, the emphasis isn't on throwing reckless power shots. It's about executing a disciplined game plan, finding the right angles, and making every opportunity count. Against the naturally larger opponent like Jake Paul, the objective would be to neutralize the physical advantages by using intelligent movement, precise timing, and calculated pressure rather than relying on raw aggression alone.
See a guy that's targeting the body, and it's the best thing that Tank could do for this fight. I mean, trying to go headshot for headshot with Jake Paul when he's probably 7 inches taller than he is. I'm assuming he's going to have a bit of a reach, even though Tank has a kind of freakish reach for his height. I don't think that's a great idea. And again, you're at eye level with Jake's belly button damn near. So you're going to have to be able to land shots right there on the waistline. And it's probably the best idea if you actually want to knock Jake out in this fight, if you actually want a game plan, because again, it's an exhibition, but if you want a game plan to get him out of there, you have to attack.
It's easy to picture how that game plan could unfold. Tank's quick combinations repeatedly digging into the body, forcing Jake Paul to lower his guard, and gradually creating the kind of fatigue that changes a fight in the later rounds. If Davis consistently lands those shots, they won't just sap Jake's energy. They could completely shift the momentum and open the door for bigger opportunities as the fight progresses. What's especially interesting is the contrast between the public perception of this matchup and the intensity shown in training. While many people continue to describe it as a spectacle, the footage suggests Tank is approaching it with the mindset of a championship fight. Under Calvin Ford's guidance, every drill appears focused on discipline, preparation, and executing a calculated strategy. Rather than putting on a show, Davis looks determined to exploit every weakness, capitalize on every opening, and deliver a performance that leaves no doubt about his intentions once he steps into the ring.
Ridiculously hard for Tank to actually knock Jake out. That's like 70-pound difference, 60-pound difference. That means something. And Jake's not some guy that's never thrown punches. He's a relative novice when it comes to, skill level that Tank has, but still, he knows how to protect himself. And again, his body structure allows for some mistakes to happen that he wouldn't have to pay for like he would if he was 135 pounds. Point being, I would be impressed, if Tank knocked him out cold or dropped him with something, hurt him.
And just when Calvin Ford's candid comments had everyone talking, Lamont Roach Sr. shifted the conversation in a completely different direction by questioning Gervonta Tank Davis's business decisions. Instead of focusing on what happens inside the ring, he turned his attention to the choices being made outside of it. In his view, Davis passed on an immediate rematch and chose a high-profile Netflix event instead, suggesting that the business side of boxing is playing a bigger role than ever. Whether people agree with that criticism or not, the matchup with Jake Paul has certainly sparked debate throughout the sport. For many longtime boxing fans, it feels like a collision between traditional prize fighting and the modern entertainment era. It's the kind of fight that would have seemed almost unimaginable just a few years ago. Yet now it has become one of the most talked about events in combat sports. Love it or hate it, the attention surrounding it proves just how dramatically the boxing landscape continues to evolve.
It's not good. It's not good for the sport. A lot of people say, oh, money this and money that, but you got to do business the right way. You know what I'm saying? You got guys on that other side, especially fighters, that take time out of their life, train, get their coaches and sparring partners. They go different places, travel. They invest a lot of times in their career, and it's a lot. So, when they get back, they get news like that, it does not receive well. So, But we solid. We're going to stand 10 toes down, man, and we're going to see what's next for us.
Roach doubled down on that opinion, arguing that fighters can't simply walk away from unfinished business whenever a bigger payday appears. From his perspective, commitments inside the sport still matter, and legacy is built by settling rivalries as much as collecting major paychecks. Whether fans agree or disagree, it's a viewpoint that has certainly added another layer to the debate surrounding Tank's next move. If Davis did choose a blockbuster event over an immediate rematch, many will inevitably question what that decision means for his long-term legacy. Big money opportunities can elevate a fighter's profile, but championship careers are often remembered for the toughest opponents faced and the rivalries resolved. That said, nobody is overlooking Jake Paul's willingness to compete or the improvements he has made in the ring. Even so, Gervonta "Tank" Davis represents an entirely different level of challenge. His explosive power, elite timing, and proven experience against world-class opposition make him one of boxing's most dangerous fighters. If this fight becomes reality, Davis is unlikely to approach it as a spectacle or entertainment event. Based on everything we've seen throughout his career, he'll treat it like any other high-stakes contest with the intention of making a statement and reminding everyone why he's considered one of the sport's elite talents.
Tank is just so much more better than Jake Paul. And some people feel, well, Jake Paul is this big heavyweight that punches hard and Tank's going to find out, you know. I mean, do you feel like this is going to be an actual real fight just underneath the term exhibition? And do you see the fight playing out when someone gets hurt?
I don't even want to talk on that fight. To be honest, I can care less about what it is. It's an exhibition, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. He ducked that work.
Yeah.
He ducked that work.
The discussion became even more heated after Lamont Roach Sr. questioned Tank's business decisions, with Lamont Roach Jr. offering his own blunt assessment of the situation. From his perspective, if Gervonta "Tank" Davis chose to move on from an immediate rematch in favor of a high-profile bout with Jake Paul, it sends a message that entertainment and financial opportunity have taken priority over settling unfinished business inside the ring. It's easy to understand why Roach would feel frustrated if that's how events unfolded. Fighters spend years working toward championship opportunities, and when a rivalry remains unresolved, many believe the rematch should take precedence over crossover events. In Roach's eyes, the focus should be on proving who the better fighter is rather than shifting attention to a matchup designed to attract massive mainstream interest. At the same time, a potential fight with Jake Paul would undoubtedly generate enormous attention and introduce boxing to an even wider audience. That's why the debate has become so divided. Some fans believe legacy is built by facing the toughest available opponents, while others argue that taking part in the biggest events is simply smart business. Either way, the conversation surrounding Tank's next move continues to dominate the boxing world.
Gonna get that rematch fight versus Gervonta after this fight?
Who knows? He said he's retiring. I believe him. Honestly, I think he's scared. So if he's going to retire, I believe he's going to retire.
You think he'll retire after the exhibition match?
I think so.
Why do you say that?
Because we get scared.
The potential Jake Paul fight may come with an enormous financial reward, and there's no denying the level of attention an event like that would generate. But for many fans, the bigger question is how a decision like this would affect Gervonta "Tank" Davis' long-term legacy. Prize fights can produce massive paydays, yet championship careers are often remembered for the elite opponents faced and the rivalry settled inside the rivalry. If the reports are accurate and Tank plans to step away after facing Jake Paul, it would undoubtedly spark even more debate throughout the boxing world. Some would view it as a smart business decision, while others would argue that there is still unfinished business against top contenders and fellow champions. That's exactly why opinions remain so divided. What nobody disputes, however, is the spectacle this matchup would create. Jake Paul enters as a naturally bigger man with a significant size advantage, while Tank brings the experience, explosive power, and elite boxing skills that have made him one of the sport's biggest stars. Whether people see it as a legitimate boxing event or a crossover attraction, the fight would instantly become one of the most talked about nights in combat sports. And if these two ever share the ring, the attention, the anticipation, and the financial stakes would be unlike almost anything boxing has seen in recent years.
The Jake Paul and Gervonta fight, the weight, the ounces on the gloves, 12 ounce, and then, you know, Calvin was asking to get the 10s. What do you think about that? And people who don't understand that.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about their fight per se. Like, I really don't care. I don't care about their fight.
What makes this potential matchup so fascinating is that it feels like much more than a typical boxing event. On one side is Jake Paul, a crossover star who built his audience through social media before entering the boxing world. On the other is Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a fighter who earned his reputation through years of elite competition and championship success. In many ways, the discussion has become a clash between two very different paths to start a mainstream digital influence versus traditional boxing excellence. The matchup is intriguing because both fighters have something significant to gain. For Jake Paul, a competitive performance against an established world-class boxer would strengthen his credibility in the sport. For Tank, an event of this magnitude could introduce him to an even broader global audience beyond boxing's core fan base. That combination of sporting intrigue and mainstream attention is exactly why the fight has generated so much discussion. The stakes would extend well beyond the final result. If Davis delivers the kind of dominant performance many fans expect, it would reinforce the value of elite boxing experience against a much larger opponent. If Paul proves more competitive than critics anticipate, it would spark another wave of debate about how far he has progressed as a boxer. Either outcome would dominate headlines, making this more than just a fight. It would become one of the defining crossover events in modern combat sports.
Jake Paul is good enough where people say, oh, he's terrible. Jake Paul is not a world-class fighter. I don't care how a person feel about that. Fighters that started in their formative years, like we did, 8, 9, 10, we got too much time in. Jake will never catch up to that. He'll never catch up to that. We just got too much time in.
And that's what makes this matchup so compelling. One fighter is looking to strengthen an already accomplished boxing legacy, while the other is chasing the validation that comes from defeating one of the sport's biggest stars. When they finally step into the ring, it won't just be about the final result, it will be a moment that could shape the conversation around crossover boxing for years to come. Will Gervonta "Tank" Davis remind everyone why he's regarded as one of the most explosive and dangerous fighters in the sport? Or can Jake Paul deliver the kind of performance that changes the way critics view his place in boxing? Those are the questions that have fans divided heading into a potential showdown. Now it's your turn. Who do you think wins, and how does the fight play out? Share your prediction in the comments below, join the discussion, and let us know which side you're on. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more boxing news, fight analysis, and the latest updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.